really is not too hard to understand why, they painted over me. You know what I'm saying? Because of my time period, when I debuted all the way to this point, I was the most talented of my generation, according to my own style and things. I was the most talented. So that's hands down one of the main reasons why they painted over me. They saw my innovation, they saw my originality, and that's another reason why I didn't suspect the thing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't suspect the thing because I knew what I was capable of, and I knew the type of content I was putting out, and I knew it wasn't something that was being did. So I'm like, so the slanders and the jokes and things that they were saying, it was actually the last thing on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting there, promoting and writing art, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about, the substance of my content, what types of levels of elevation that's gonna, put me up to and things like that. So, and that's what it was, man. As bad as, you hate to admit it, man. And then it's actually I sat there and watched these entities, man, through injustices as well as, these jealous entities that artists and influencers that work with them. And I watched them stage a whole situation that I reported the whole time it was happening. You know what I'm saying? So that's telling you something real strange. I sat there and watched them put me in juxtaposition against people that had nothing to do with me. You feel me? They did that on purpose. I sat there and watched them, try to draft me to a reality in which someone can, quote unquote, beat me, or something like that. And that's weird because it was never a situation whereas it was a fight, a fair fight. I wasn't in the same bracket, environment, reality, or anything. But yet that's somehow is acceptable to, I guess, the commonplace or the world, or I don't know, but it was pretty much they picked out somebody and picked on them, they bullied me because I was more talented. And then those that they worshiped that felt intimidated used their mammon to abuse, their power, and then they tortured my life, you know what I'm saying, and tried to assimilate my aesthetics and hide the fact of my originality, hide that fact by painting over me with falsehoods and manipulations and finessings, you know what I'm saying, and exaggerations, amplifications. They was doing this. It's just like if somebody invite you in their house, and then when you get in there, they close the door and stab you in the back. That's the kind of situation it was. And they did me like that. Metaphorically. They did me like that so they can have my dynamics and aesthetics and stuff. So that's really what happened. You know what I'm saying? They had no victory. They don't have anything. You feel me? They never had no victory or any of that. The whole situation was one that they staged and they fabricated in order, they fabricated the beginning, the middle, and the end of it, Where at the end, I kind of broke it. I kind of broke it like what you seeing, because it's just a representation of reality. They tried to pull a quick one on somebody that was more talented than them and the ones that they worship. You know what I'm saying? The ones that they idolize and all that. Somebody I was more talented, and then they twisted. They seen that early, and they twisted up a situation. Like I say, it's like somebody invite you in to their house, then you get in. They invite you in with smiles and merriment and everything. You get in, they close the door, stab you in the back. That's the kind of situation that they were doing, And they was actually pre-planning that whole thing for the longest, which is why during the time when I was showing them nothing but love, they paid me evil for it. That explains why they were not compromising. They got angry at me. People, they was getting mad at me for showing love, I hadn't did anything to them. And so that's the reality of it, these and then you got these crimes, and it's really a crime of supremacy, man, because you got certain people that represent certain bodies of people, you feel me, in a way. And when they do things, they're doing it for all of those people. And so like some people make jokes and stuff, they assimilate my stuff against my will, they pretend like it's all fun and games and stuff, and then they do everything without you ever knowing anything formally, you feel me. The whole situation they do without you being aware of it, and so they constantly they create, they create these scenarios and everything, and it's really a crime of, it's a race It's a race crime that's been plaguing my life ever since, and it evolves, change forms. Bits and pieces go that way. It's manipulated, twist and turn. It does whatever, and it accommodates whatever I do. And see, that's the thing. Like, nobody says anything about when people, nobody says, anything about when, people assimilate, like, they accommodate, they change up their styles and stuff to accommodate mine real quick. They do it real quick, you know what I'm saying? Or why everything else has happened. Just to say that they did it. Why the whole time, and then they act like they never knew about me. And then why the whole time I personally witnessed them, putting power moves on my life. You feel me? In early years, I just didn't understand why, and they was watching, me the whole time. So their presence then is hella suspicious, considering what's been disclosed now. And what we know has already been proven out. And so that's the situation, man. They committed an unforgivable thing, but it ain't just me, though. It's against the purposes of God. Because my range and everything was far larger than that. And that's why they constantly attack my sustainability and everything, because they try to keep that fact from being made manifest. You know what I'm saying? Because then their lies and stuff, they can continue to make money off. They keep making money off these lies, delusions that they created. You know what I'm saying? And they just did the lowest of the low, in order to have that little bit of success or victory. You know what I'm saying? They stoop all the way low to the lowest anyone could go, even if it means against child, just for, some kind of get rich quick scheme, So that's what it was. It was a long premeditated situation. They draw it out the perimeters a long time ago. And then, they informally off the radar, campaigned, in order to bring about a result to where they can guide somebody's whole life into a preset framing that they had already prepared, in order to preserve the name of their gods. You feel me? So they wanted to use, they chose one person. Unfortunately, they chose the wrong person, because I'm literally God's, I'm God's own, I'm from God, you know what I'm saying? Just as all his people is. But I'm just saying, like, they really didn't choose the right person. And that's the situation, So, I can't be blamed for that. That's the position that they, put me in. They chose, but that's the situation, So then they put me against these people that ain't got nothing to do with me, people that I never even think about, on the regular like that. And then me knowing what they did already to me in the past, then I definitely wouldn't be open to, like, let them, have room in my head, like, rent free and all that. Nah, I don't even let it. So they let these people plague my life, harass my life. And then they in order to allow that to continue, they keep throwing, like, they use lies as weapons, literally. Like, they know something not true, then they'll just say it real quick. When whatever reason that they have to harass or stalk my life is being disbanded, disproven, or anything, they'll toss out a lie real quick to open that back. It's called suggestion. Just that'll treat the minds of the masses. That's one reason why when people got a problem with you, those kind, they got a problem with you, they tell everybody except you. You know what I'm saying? Because they're framing you. I didn't understand all that back then, though. I realized that's what they was doing to me. They was isolating me. You know what I'm saying? It's alienation. So they can go in for the kill, which they went for in 2017, 16, 18, like 19. It's just been like an ongoing, nonstop thing. For as long as these truths and my testimony has not been made manifest, then the lies and things that they were saying about me seem true. So, with the existence of the truth in my testimony, then their lies and all that can't exist. And so they try to, like, prevent me from, having a durable platform. They embedded in my life heavily since, young, just as like a preemptive way of, like, ensuring that I did not secure my legacy, which deserves, in all honesty, deserves what? I'm an original artist, author. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the realities that people try to, like, they tried to bind me to or bind me to. I had nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? They reached to grab me in, through a heavy, all unconstitutional domestic terrorism based, attacks and strategies and maneuvers to like graft me to a reality that had nothing to do with me in order to say they beat me. So that's why, I've seen all these different types of things throughout the years, and I'm like, every time I'm getting attacked, then they'll have like certain types of propagandas, you know what I'm saying, if you will. Like they'll have somebody promoting certain propagandas, just to like around me, you feel me? Just like there's like something bad can happen to me while I'm walking, and then not even just a couple minutes later, somebody will zoom by with certain type of propaganda or yelling or saying something that aligns to that kind of propaganda, or however you want to take it, you know what I'm saying, with something that I don't have nothing to do with. Like I never had interest in those realities, so I'm like, what are they talking about? Like it just didn't make sense to me. I'm an author, I'm an author and artist. I'm just like your favorite, author and artist. So it really didn't make no sense to me, And so, I mean, that's just the situation. They're insane, Whoever doing this is the Antichrist, and that's who God go absolutely, utterly, and thoroughly destroy off the clean face of the earth. This is the future for the Babylon Antichrist. Like no matter what, because you see clearly what this is, the situation. Because even while I still speak, these same entities allow access into my life. The structures, they are powerless over, over these influences. These influences like insane, obsessed. They put all their money, everything into making sure that I did not have, success or something, So, I mean, in spite of, it being, aspects of a crime that I already proven, year after year after year. And then, 3 years ago, I actually called personally, you feel me, to make sure that my situation was on the radar. So everything after that, that's actively, it's a massive injustice, to which ain't nobody helping me. Like, it's massive, man. It's massive. Yeah. It's jealousy, man. And I've seen these people just, stoop low as you can go throughout the years consistently, way to the point where it's like it's way past any kind of rationality, civility, everything, and it just compounds to the point where it's just like incomprehensible how evil it is and how long it's been happening, these types of things on the life of one person, with no cause, and they doing this because it's racism, man, it's fascism. And it's also because, it's jealous people that just benefited. Their interest is that they preserve, the name and the images of the beast. You know what I'm saying? Their beast, and all that. They want to perpetuate the images of the beast and things like that. And now, they turn the whole, somewhere that God had once blessed into, somewhere that's no longer under God. And so they sabotage my life, I mean, it's a whole lot of different aspects that's unspoken of, yeah, man, it's real life, and they're attacking. They doing this because they jealous of my talent. That's all, which is easily manifest, and I could do more and better things, but that's the reason they tried to paint over me, you know what I'm saying? Because they know deep inside, and then they see clearly that I got more talent than even the ones they worship. And so that's why they was doing all these mental deterioration strategies and things throughout the years nonstop. You know what I'm saying? In spite of if I reported it, if I did anything, no matter who I called in the whole country, no matter what I said, what I did, they still was there doing these things nonstop. Like, this is not a situation that's normal. I was harmless. You know what I'm saying? I was not involved with no kind of nothing. I'm pretty much a isolated type of person. I stayed with the Holy Bible. This is what I've known as reality. Wasn't for something that I did, but just because of, the range of my talent. And it was better than what they had, And so, man, that's pretty much how, all I knew. And so they stayed there, keep imposing these people that I don't even be thinking about. You know what I'm saying? I could just kick some fire junk, man. I could just, off the top, man. Like, well, that's what I'm doing with my micro poetry, man. I got tons. I mean, I got ideas and stuff from heaven, man, that ain't even in the earth. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, it would be like, people see that, then, they'll glorify God. That's not what happened, And they actually got God the same way, too, because that's the point of God showing people certain things. So they glorify them and then tell the good news to everybody. So they glorify them too. But the devil in the world, see? And that's the example why things don't go like that, you know. Instead, they take the full 180 approach. You know, they start tearing down the messenger. You know, they hate the message, and you know, they start finding ways they can benefit and profit from things that's not theirs by lying and saying it's theirs, or trying to make it theirs in order to profit from it. And then they could draft whole structures and systems so you can't pursue justice about it, because they are the justice as well. You know, so I mean, it's a heavy situation, it's a hectic situation. But nobody when something like this ever happened to can never be under God. You know, and saying as this situation is yet to be resolved, and the same entities and influence still remain in position in spite of the damage they already rendered to me. You know, they in position to make it worse. You know, yeah, man, it can never be that. You know. That's crazy, man. Nonetheless, my faith's still strong, you know, and I'm still fighting for my creations, man. You know, like I said, I spoke briefly on, like, it's so much goodness I always wanted to get to, like, man, like I had so many, cause there's some be like, you can start now, man. Yeah, true enough, man. It's a situation where I have no problem writing, you know what I'm saying, creating quality content. That's what I'm all about, you know, for fan supporters. But I wanted people to know the gravity of the situation, you know, to which I've been fighting through it. Also, you know, like just the times that we living in as aligning to the Bible. Because then that lets them know they got to get their work together. You know what I'm saying? They got to make sure they'll be caught with their work undone. You know, the Lord is soon to come. You know, so they understand if this happening, then everything else pretty much common sense. You know? And that's the situation, man. They got to know, like, yeah, man, this is not a normal situation. They doing this to a follower of the Lord Jesus. Anybody who doing it can't be of Jesus. Jesus ain't a cannibal. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to attack himself. That's dumb. You know, a house divided cannot stand. You know, so I mean, I just the truth, man. Well, man, me personally, though, man, I got so many good ideas and stuff, though I hadn't even touched on, got to. But they understand my aesthetics, man. But that's why they crowded my life so bad, because inadvertently, me just being myself and who I know I am, and who anybody with some real sense know who I am. You know what I'm saying? As contrary to whatever slanders and things that's irrelevant to me, really, to mention. But, you know, whatever slanders, then they automatically know, you know, that, you know, like, I mean, they know that the truth of the matter will be made manifest. So they crowd me like they try to keep you all balanced. You know, and keep putting themselves in your way, so you be talking more about what they're doing to you than actually, you know what I'm saying, getting to the good stuff, like the stuff totally unrelated to whatever they do. So it's a real thorough and sophisticated scam, framing, stagings, you know, all these different types of crimes. They probably put like every last one of them on my life. In my time in the earth, I probably had every crime done against me. You feel me? I probably had every crime committed against me, did to me. Like, to be honest, just, you know, because of my extraordinary talent. And like the Bible say, man, a house, what is it? What is it? An establishment on the hill can't be hidden, you know. Situation like that, you know. But I mean, I wanted to use it to glorify God. Any fame I had, so I wasn't really tripping about it. But when you pretty much outnumbered and out-resourced and, you know, outmaneuvered with, you know, things that you don't play according to, then God go step in for you, especially if you're too young. And then that's when they decide to eat you alive while you was too young. You feel me? Then God go allow certain things to happen. And then they told you responsible for what happened, but don't hold nobody or themselves responsible for what they did to a child. You know, that should not have happened. You know, so it's a deep situation, but you see a lot of double standards, and that carries over whatever in the interest of whoever's mammon. You see, it's not a fair right or rational situation. It's totally ridiculous, you know. And it stems with the attack on my legacy, my art, my talent. You know, I possess more range than, you know, any of their gods. And so they try to like keep me in a box with their gods and all that. Well, that's not even something that I'm interested in, you know. So that's why they paint over me. They paint it over me so that's all everybody see. You know, they say they paint over you with these lies and stuff. And I didn't know who it was. I just knew whoever doing it, they definitely go get exposed. Because, you know, that's something that they didn't attack me. They attacked the purposes of Yahweh. Sacred, you know. They stopped a whole lot of good stuff, you know. And I was already in fragments 7 years ago, you feel me? Like, I mean, I just didn't know it. So, you know, when times like 2017 came and stuff, and 18, it was like a little bit of like, you know, they just wanted to ensure that it was impossible, period, for me to have any kind of like leadership positions when my intention was never that in the first place. I just wanted to make good art for good people and, you know, and just, you know, bless the world with some creativity from heaven. My mind wasn't on nobody else's lane. You know what I'm saying? They tried to, they reconstructed the whole freaking, you know what I'm saying, you know, whatever, the whole freaking, you know, plane of existence in order to like merge lanes with me and assimilate me into their lanes. You feel me? I'm on my own lane just rolling down, and they just persecutors, they come in your lane, you know what I'm saying, race the lines and everything, and then say stay in your lane. You feel me? When they come in your lane, you know, try to take your lane over, you know what I'm saying, and you know, redraw the lines and everything to your lane, none existed. Then say stay in your lane. I'm like, I'm in my lane the whole time. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, man. They very, very, very clever, you know. And it was the massive, it was the grand, like, it was just the most type of, you know, it was the grandfather of get rich quick schemes, really. You know, it was like one of those situations that some people just put all the eggs into, you know. Then if they succeeded in that, then they could. I just don't see how they could possibly think if they succeeded in that, then the person they did that to could ever be anywhere, you know what I'm saying, cool with them ever. I just don't understand that, you know, because they succeeded in the mammon part of it, but not in the preservation of their reputation part of it, you know, because they never will. Cause that's gonna make them look like they was right. They wasn't right for that. You know, this started 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I started writing. You know, I mean, I first got published. I debuted it. You know what I'm saying? Like around 12. I started writing in 11. You know what I mean? I was like a household name by 15. Before I even started writing, that's when this situation was in effect. You get it? You understand it? You know what I'm saying? It didn't just start when I started writing. This was happening before I started writing. This was a premeditated jokes and all this. So therefore, it nullifies every success that they gained from it. All the clout they got from, you know, the whole situation was staged. You know what I'm saying? They took somebody's kindness for weakness and then used that to stab them in the back with it. You know, they played the love. Absolutely unforgivable, you know, in order for a come up. So, I mean, if they succeeded in the mammon, then they can't possibly ever think they have this bridge or my friendship. But then that's the problem. Like, the structure is not preventing these evil entities from harassing my life. You know what I'm saying? In spite of them being reported, you know, or, I mean, come on. We went to the moon before, you know. It don't take common sense. I mean, just common sense to understand it was a fifth person life in danger, you know. Then if you go allowing the same individuals that access to them, then they're in further danger, you know. And that's the situation. And so it's like they make it, you know, by the failure to act is to put me in a position where the same interests that those jealous influences had were me out the lands, so I can't defend my stuff. You know what I'm saying? They either want me exiled where I can't defend my stuff in case I ever recognize this scam, you know, or they want me dead or silenced so I can't defend my stuff, you know, or that nobody else will be able to understand or nobody else will be able to suspect it. But both of those things failed, you know. And God said, no, that shall not be so. So he kept me alive, just around, he kept me here just long enough for like times like now, where, now I make sure everybody know and seeing what's happened. And that's been the case, It's not something that I chose, Everybody know what my reality consisted of, and then what the position they tried to put me into. So that's the situation, man. They want to keep you in these boxes and things that they create out of slander and defamation and distortion in order to bound you to the same boxes that their minds are stuck in. You know what I'm saying? And they're so desperate that, you'll see to the point where it's like their minds are like stuck inside these boxes of cultural, constructs and things that did not limit me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody seen in early years, the things that I was talking about was all aligned to the Holy Bible from the beginning, the whole time. As an artist, that was all it was. As an author, that's what my whole content was. And see, that was the reality that I had known, pretty much. And so they do everything to try to like make this right. You know what I'm saying? This is not right. And see, that by there being no action to prevent the evil from harassing you, then it put you like you either gotta, like I say, be exiled, or you gotta die, be silenced, or something. And then when you also expose the framing that they were trying to put you up against these people with, with totally different brackets. You know what I'm saying? Like, it give you a sense of the situation, like impossible should be, but that's reality. Yeah, it's crazy like that though, Faith still in God though. But this is the reason why, man. Like, this is why I got painted on. I was great.